There was a circle to women are not oppressed in the USA. Rogue, you circled that. Maya, you circled that. Alyssa, you circled that. Madison, you circled that. I should have had Andrew stay for the last part, this last one here. But so you guys think women are oppressed in the United States?
I think there's a level of oppression. I don't think it's as bad as a lot of other places, but I feel like it's not totally, equal.
Okay.
I have a comment. Just skip me.
Just skip me.
Okay, that's fair. What about... no, Keely, you did not circle that. Alyssa, you circled women are not oppressed in the USA.
I think I agree with her stance, that there is some form of oppression.
Sure, okay. And then Madison, you too?
I also agree that there's some forms of oppression. I'm not saying overall in every way women are oppressed. In some ways they have privileges, men don't, but they are oppressed in some ways, including the gender pay gap, which you don't want to talk about.
I mean, just for the sake of time, we do have to skip over it, but can you guys just cite to the ways in which women are oppressed?
I would say, I know pay, and I'm going to skip over that. I would say that women are more confined to try to fit into a box. And when women like myself try to not conform and try to be liberated in my own way, I get a lot of pushback. I feel like men want to constantly put women in the kitchen, and I feel like that's the oppression. They want to force us to do what they want us to do. They want us to submit, and not all women want to submit.
Yeah, how successful are they at that?
Well, they're getting less successful.
Aren't you currently in a relationship with a man who has no expectations of that whatsoever?
Yeah, we're getting places.
Yeah, I mean, couldn't this just equally be applied to men? Like, if, for example, if I'm a guy and I want to be a stay-at-home house husband, you don't think I'm going to face social shame from women?
I don't think so much anymore. Maybe like 10 years ago.
Yeah, you think I'm gonna have good luck in the dating field if I'm like, yeah, I don't really want to work. You're gonna work, and I'm gonna stay at home. You think I'm gonna like have good success finding a wife?
I feel like you could, but I mean, it'd be difficult. Sorry, it would be generally more difficult.
You guys can never engage in like, yeah, I suppose it's possible.
I feel like you always want us to have the answer you want. You brought us on this podcast for our own valuable
the
insight.
opposite answer so that there's a
but it's just like not productive to be like, okay, let me always cite to the outlier when I'm trying to argue against you. Like, I speak in generalities here. Like, generally speaking, like, yes, I might be able to find a woman who's willing to provide everything, pay for me the whole thing on the first date, let me stay at home and never have to work a day again. It's possible. Is it probable?
I mean, I guess the majority of women know, but I don't see a problem with it. I don't see a problem with it. I think
okay, that's right. Totally cool. I guess you would do it. Maybe. I'm not even sure if you would be okay with that kind of dynamic. Do you think I'm going to have success in the dating marketplace?
No.
Going into it being like, you're going to pay for me on first dates. I'm going to stay at home. I don't want to work. I'm going to take care of the kids. You genuinely think that like that's not going to be a major issue for me when it comes to dating?
No, that would be a major issue for you.
Or any guy, pretty much?
Yeah,
yep.
It would.
Okay, cool. Right. And this is like a social pressure that women apply to men. So it's like, yeah, we hold you guys to standards. You guys hold us to standards. So I don't think that's oppression, though, because a woman doesn't want to let me or isn't willing to let me be a stay-at-home house husband. I don't think that's oppression.
I don't think.
Well, I asked you what are examples of how women are oppressed, and you're like, well, like men have these like kind of social standards for women.
Well, a lot of the things that have oppressed women have sort of been weeded out. Like women can buy their own houses and they can own
they could always
credit cards and they can
own things, but yeah.
They can, okay, then I'm completely wrong. Women have zero, they're living the fucking dream. You're completely right, Brian.
Thank
I don't
you.
know what the
I
fuck I'm
appreciate it,
talking about.
Can I share an opinion?
I do. I kind of have to move things on, but you disagreed. So how are women oppressed?
I hear what you're saying, but I do think socially, society,
women are oppressed? How so?
Well, there's men who expect you to bow down for them and fold their laundry on
How would that be
first date.
oppression?
I just feel like why are we bowing down to you? Who are you? Why
do I have to work
bow down to
5 hours to take you on a date?
Because you want to, because that's a
You
kind
expect it though.
gesture.
You expect it.
I would like that, but
And I would like a woman to bow to me.
well, you can have your preference.
And you can have your preference too. How is it oppression?
I think just bowing down in general is disrespectful.
How is it? It's the most respectful thing you can do.
Overturn of Roe v. Wade.
Yeah.
That too.
There's one that's
Well,
not.
we'll come to that in a bit, but I thought you didn't want to be part of this conversation. So a man wanting a woman to be submissive is oppression?
For women who don't want to be put in that position.
Yeah, I'm not
sure.
forcing any woman to do it. Submission is not something that is taken, it is something that is given.
But you place women who don't want to do that on a lower pedestal.
Yeah,
than
what's wrong
women
with
who
that?
do.
What's actually wrong with that?
Well, I feel like that's a form of oppression.
How? So just to be clear, you're oppressing men that don't want to pay for first dates?
No.
Oh, so it's only oppression when men do it. Like if a man holds a woman to a standard, that's oppression. When women hold men to the standards, sack up. That's your job as a man. That's not oppression.
No, if he's willingly paying for our first date, then no.
And she's willingly bowing.
Okay.
What's the issue?
That's fine. Well, that's
I'm not
fine.
forcing, bitch, fucking bow for me. No.
But
She should want. In fact, the more she wants to do it, and I don't even have to tell her anything, the more attractive that is. I don't want to tell a girl to be submissive. She wants to be submissive.
Okay.
Submission is given, not taken.
But I think a majority of women in today's age don't agree with that in general.
Sure, that's cool.
And I think men who hold those values are
Or what?
inherently the oppressors.
How are they inherently the? How does that make you an oppressor because you want your girl to hit a bow? Why would that be oppressive?
I think.
Do you want a guy? Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I just think it's.
Can you scoot into the table so you're
Sorry.
closer to the mic?
I just think that's just. I don't know. Actually, don't know. Don't have an answer.
Okay. Is there anything else? So you said Roe v. Wade, men's expectations on women is oppressive, but women's expectations on men is not oppressive?
I think there's oppression in both sides. I think.
Oh, women can be oppressors? I didn't know that was a thing. Like just using your
or maybe
feminist
privilege
framework.
is the right. Maybe privilege is the right word. Women have privilege in certain aspects.
And so men
that
are
don't.
oppressors, women are oppressed.
I feel like men have the ultimate ability to oppress women because at any time, men like Andrew always makes the comment. At any time, men can rise up and just put us all in cages and like kill us or
but
rape
they
us or
don't.
do whatever.
But they don't, which would point to men's benevolence, not to their oppressive nature.
Yeah, but absolute power corrupts absolutely. And
Men could have absolute power. Why? Like, men are benevolent. If men wanted to, yes, because of force doctrine, they could be like, okay, we're walking back all of women's rights.
But
they
they
could
are.
do that. No, they're not.
with Roe v. Wade being
That's
overturned.
not, okay, hold on. Couple things here. So when it comes to Roe v. Wade, right, it got kicked back to the states.
But if it's to the states, then does that even make it a right? Because one state gets to choose that I have bodily autonomy, but the other one doesn't. It's not a right if somebody gets to still choose whether or not I have the right to my own body.
Yeah, but what does this have to do? So when it comes to women's rights, we're making a comparison between men and women.
Mm-hmm.
Like, here's a right that men have that women don't. We want equality between men and women.
Mm-hmm.
Men don't have any reproductive rights at all. So actually, if you guys are in favor of equality, show of hands, who's in favor of equality? Okay, here's equality for you. Men have no reproductive rights. Here's equality. Nationwide abortion ban. That's equality.
Yeah, but there are no laws against a man's reproductive system. Name one
What-
law against a man.
Child support. Not alimony. Child support.
Just child support.
How about
I don't
this?
know,
A man who is essayed by a woman and she gets pregnant, he has to pay his assaulter child support.
I don't know.
Did you just say good?
Well, yeah. Why did he assaulted her, right?
No.
Oh, my bad.
She assaults
She
him.
assaulted him.
She assaults him. She gets pregnant.
Oh, never mind. Scratch
Yeah,
that.
she just said good to that.
She didn't mean
She
it.
assaults him. Yeah,
Scratch
it's fine.
that.
Whatever. She misheard. She assaults him. he has to pay child support.
I mean,
So,
if
yeah,
you
child
want
support, big
equality,
deal.
then you should
That's
just make it where
terrible.
men can opt out if a woman gets pregnant.
Yeah, but that's never going to happen. So men can't opt out of the child support system.
Well, then maybe that's something you guys should be fighting for.
I mean, there are men's rights activists that are fighting for precisely that thing.
Then
But
it
it's
would be equal. A woman can choose to have a baby if she wants to, and the man can decide whether or not he wants to sign his name
That
on the
would,
birth
I suppose, that
certificate.
would be a form of equality to some degree. Women maintain or retain their rights to abortion, and men can, if they want, they can.
Revoke their
It's,
parental rights.
It's called like a parental. There's a specific term for it. Legal paternal surrender. So the guy can just legally, okay, I don't want anything to do with,
Yeah.
I can't, you can't.
Look at us,
force me to
Brian,
pay child
solving the
support.
world's problems together.
Yeah, that's not politically tenable. It's never going to happen.
I
So
think that's a
true.
little, like,
So it's a little what?
like
Okay, then you have to be. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
sad. I don't
What
know.
is sad?
It's a little sad.
So is abortion sad?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, at least you're consistent, I guess. But
I'm not saying it's bad, but it's sad as fuck. But it's not bad.
why is it? I mean, but okay. Woman wants to get an abortion because she's not financially ready.
It's sad.
But she's able to like murder her child.
It's fuck. It's sad. It's really. It's like takes a
Okay.
serious emotional toll on people.
Sure. Again, though, this whole Roe v. Wade thing, like actual equality between men and women on this issue would be a nationwide abortion ban.
I don't think that's equality, though.
That would be equality. Men don't have a say. Once the woman's pregnant, men don't have any reproductive rights. So
Yeah, but
if
you're-
equality would dictate that you have to walk back abortion completely.
There's
See-
more that goes into it than just reproductive rights. Though.
Not
I
only
mean,
that,
bodily
like
autonomy.
you're not just putting so men have to do the physical and financial support of the man, but you're creating a world where women are forced into a medical condition. Being pregnant is a medical condition, and it comes with a lot of things. People can get gestational diabetes. They can end up dying. Like pregnancy isn't just a easy thing that every woman can just pop out a baby. Like a lot of women, suffer tremendously, either that being death or trauma postpartum. Like there's lots of things that go into that. So I feel like
Yeah, absent SA, women are not forced to get pregnant.
yeah, but I'm saying that accidents do happen, and the majority of women who get abortions too already have kids, and they're already in marriages, and they can't handle another kid, and usually the husband's fine with it anyway. So I feel like it should be a right.
Yeah, but we were talking about women's oppression, right? And so typically oppression, you're making like a comparison between men and women. Oh, men have this benefit that women don't, right? So I'm not sure how the abortion component, like men don't have any reproductive rights whatsoever. So it would occur to me that like equalizing it would either require legal paternal surrender, which is never going to happen. It's not politically tenable whatsoever. There's not one singular politician who's a men's rights activist. Most politicians are feminists. So that's just off the table immediately. So if we're going to equalize here, you'd just have to walk back abortion rights completely for there to be equality. But you guys are not open to that sort of equality. So
I don't know. I personally don't feel like that's equality. I feel like that's a little step further than that. I still feel like the oppression in that case would be on the woman. Because a guy could still run off and not pay child support for a couple of years, or not get a good job just so he didn't have to pay a ton of child support, or try to get paid all in cash so he can't put it in child support. Like there's lots of ways to kind of get to finagle and go around it. But the burden is not physically on the woman. The burden's on her raising the children.
yeah,
or
the burden's physically on the man too. If you have to work a job and they're going to take like 20-30% of your paycheck, that's 20 to 30% of your labor
Yeah,
going
but
to.
you act like the woman's not paying for anything either.
No, she is. Yeah, it's.
So if she's
Pregnancy
also
is
paying, but
pregnancy is a
if she's
physical
also
thing.
paying financially into this kid, the guy has to pay financially into this kid. Then that's still kind of an equal thing. But having to put a woman through a medical condition, that's the step
not being
further.
put through. I mean, like the same arguments that the guy should have made this decision before coming inside the woman or whatever. Like those same arguments can be made towards the woman. If you didn't want to pay child support, you should have thought that. Should have kept your legs closed. Whatever. In any case, I don't really find this a compelling argument when it comes to women's oppression. So, because I already just totally, there's a disconnect here when it comes to, because oppression has to do with like a differential of treatment between men and women. So because there's not total symmetry here, I don't really find it compelling. Societally, you say there's oppression of women. So besides the abortion thing, can you could you provide to me an example of women being oppressed?
I mean, we're gonna skip over it, but pay, like, that's still a thing.
No, it's not. It's been debunked.
Okay.
There's no gender pay
It's
gap.
literally on the federal government's website that it is a thing.
Yeah, that's. I mean, you mean the Biden administration? Yeah, that's fake news.
March 12th is
I
the
have to
day that
go.
nationally honor that, because that's the difference in pay. A woman would have to work all the way through March 12th to get the same pay that the other guy would for just 2023.
Okay.
For 1 year.
Um,
And also, women, even if they are working and the man is
can I
also
move
working,
you in that seat? If you want to take that seat.
and they have a family together,
Want me here?
oftentimes
No,
the
you just stay
majority of the domestic work is still expected to be done by the woman, even though they're both working full-time jobs.
So yeah, that's kind of fake news.
No, it's not.
I mean, we could pull up infographics that have told. I mean, the gender pay gap has been told. Explain to me what the gender pay gap is.
That for every dollar a man makes, a woman, on average, not always, but
So-
on average for the same job, will make 80% roughly of what a man makes.
Oh, for the same job.
Correct.
No, here's the uncontrolled gender pay gap, which is the number you're citing to. The uncontrolled gender pay gap is without factoring in for hours worked, type of job. You're just comparing all men to all women, and you're just comparing the money that they make. There's no like delineation when it comes to, again, hours worked, type of job, academic credentials, any of this sort of thing. It's just comparing men to women. When you start controlling there's like over a dozen different factors that you can control for. It goes down to it's 99 cents to the dollar.
That's
if you
fake
control.
news.
It's not. Here, pull up, find the pay scale infographic. In fact, when it comes to, for example, Asian women out-earn white men. Yeah.
They be hustling, though.
So, I mean, there's just a bit of confusion here when it comes to the gender pay gap. Okay, so here, Damien, here's where you're going to go. Dropbox, podcast, infographics, wage, okay? Can you find it? Wait, how long? Has this red thing been here the whole time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta be fucking kidding me. Oh, my God. No, why is mine? Okay. Can you read this from Low Paladins?
The Marine Corps lyrics are about the Marines. Okay, went by too fast.
Go ahead, read it.
The Marine Corps lyrics are about the Marines protecting us from Mexican invasion as well as saving whites from slavery in North Africa. This is not ancient history, not that long ago.
Law Paladins, I appreciate the message, man. Thank you. We have, well, that's below the threshold. Thank you, Sav, that I do appreciate the message. Do you have it pulled up?
No, I opened the folder, will it open right?
Here, I'm going to send it to you. One sec. All right, one sec. Private chat. I'm going to read this super chat here. Daniel Harmon, oppression, prolonged, cruel, or unjust treatment. The ladies need a dictionary. Prolonged, cruel, or unjust treatment. Wanting a girl to bow is oppression, FYI. But wanting a guy to open the car door and be chivalrous and like do a million different things to impress you is not.
Because bowing isn't really part of our culture. That's
So?
more like acting like you're their servant than their lover.
So like this whole thing when it comes to like expectations only goes one way. Is it just shocking to you to like ever hear a man like have expectations for women? I know most of you deal with men who are just happy for some pussy, but like actual men who have expectations beyond just sex, I think is shocking to a lot of you. I find that interesting.
I'd rather make my man like a drink when he comes in, like the old 1950s, than bow to him. I feel like that takes more effort,
Yeah,
but
and
it's just out of
Do you
the
think
norm.
Asian women in like Asian countries where like the Asian women are bowing to men, do you think that's oppression?
No, it's part of their culture. That's
It's-
fine.
okay.
And the other example was like making a meal for a man on the first date. Like, I enjoy cooking. I would think that was a sign of showing that you care about someone. I don't think that's oppressive, but I don't enjoy doing laundry or bowing to people. So then that's making me like serve you. Like,
Well, I don't enjoy, like, do you think men enjoy doing all these things for women? Or do they do it because that's what's required to get women?
I think some of them do enjoy being a gentleman, actually. I think some of them do it because that's what's expected and they want some pussy.
So is it a fair proposition that women can enjoy being submissive?
Sure. Some of
Okay,
them
so
can.
what's the problem with the bow then?
If they want to do it, that's fine. I'm just telling you why I wouldn't do it and why a lot of other women wouldn't do it.
Sure, you can think it's weird or odd, but I don't know if you can define that as oppressive.
If the woman who's doing it is fully willingly, then yeah, that's not oppression. But to like expect that of all women would be oppressive.
Well, I don't know if it's the expecting it of all women, but if my expectation is that this is what I would want, how would that be oppression?
Doing it consenting, then
Yeah, of
no,
course.
it's not oppressive.
Okay. Thank you, Daniel Harmon, for the super chat. I appreciate it. Do you have it pulled up? All right, so this is from a website called PayScale, which is left-leaning. The uncontrolled gender pay gap, this opportunity pay gap, measures median salary for all men and all women. So that's this often cited, you said 80 cents on the dollar. They say in this one, this is 82. Women earn 82 cents for every $1 earned. The controlled gender pay gap, this measures median salary for men and women with the same job and qualifications. Women earn 99 cents for every $1 earned by men.
Okay, but I mean, it's still, until it's 99 and 99 or 100 and 100, it's still a pay gap.
Well, how about this when it comes to the gender pay gap? You expect a guy to pay for the first date. I think you said you want a guy to pay for the first date. I forgot who else said here. Wouldn't the gender pay gap, and there's actually plenty of arguments totally debunking it, the gender pay gap exists because of a dating pressure that women put on men.
That's an interesting take on that.
Well, I would argue when it comes to dating, right? Somebody wanting to find a partner is like one of the most important things in life. People put a lot of time, a lot of effort when it comes to dating. If, not all women, but I want to say 51% of women, a majority of women want men to pay for first dates. If men don't pay for first dates, they're less likely to get a second date, they're less likely to have a successful date with that girl, whatever. You yourselves are putting a social pressure on men to make money. This social pressure does not exist in the opposite direction. So, and I have plenty of arguments when it comes to the wage gap thing. Your own conduct and your own expectations of men is causing the gender pay gap.
I've thought about that before. I feel like I've seen like men support entire families for years and years and years to come, and it's like I'm not supporting the pay gap at all, but what I'm saying is like it doesn't go majority of the time it doesn't go unbalanced. Like usually women for years and years and generations are financially supported by men. Not saying
And?
currently, but I'm kind of like, I'm saying like I've seen your point before. That point has been brought up before. So.
But even if I put aside every single other argument I have when it comes to the wage gap, for example, men, they're in different fields. They're more likely to relocate. They're more likely to work a dangerous job, which is going to pay more. They're more likely to move to bumfuck nowhere for higher pay. They'll move to a 100-person shitty fucking town for the pay, right? They're going to do all this shit. They're going to work a dangerous job. There's all kinds of other gaps related to work. You know, for example, men are more likely to be injured on the job. Men are more likely to die on the job. Men are more likely to fall to their death on the job. You look at iron workers, these men who are building these massive buildings. You ever seen these videos? These guys don't even have safety fucking harnesses. They're just up on the building. They could fall 100, 200, 300 feet to their death. There's not a lot of women wanting those opportunities. The reality is men are involved in a bunch of fields that just happen to pay more. A lot of y'all aren't willing to do those dangerous, dirty jobs that pay a lot. They'll go on a fucking they'll go, what's it called, an oil rig for 3 months. Y'all aren't willing to do that.
A lot of women are held back in their careers, though, because once the family unit has been started and there's children at play, 99% of the time, or not 99%, I'm just exaggerating here, but much of the time, if the kid has to go home from school sick or whatever the issue is with childcare, it lands on the mom more often than not, which does hold them back in their career, while the husband just gets to keep working hard and showing the CEOs how amazing he is and get that pay raise.
Sure. Look, I mean, there are actually a female, I don't know if it was a female economist. She actually recently won the, what was it? A female economist won the, what's that like award? That award? Nobel?
Yeah,
Nobel Peace Prize?
Well, no, it wasn't the Nobel Peace Prize. She won the Nobel, I think, in economics, and it like the whole way difference in pay between men and women ultimately comes down to women choosing to have families and have children, and there's just the reality of that is pretty much the primary factor here.